Stupid equals heart attack. This headline isn't an anthology or some sort of quip. Heart attack isn't a term to be bandied about. The words, "you've had a heart attack," are some of the least welcome you'll ever want to hear. And I had one, July 2nd. Out of stupidity, perhaps. All I know was I confused Kundalini symptoms with those of a heart attack. How could this ever come about, you ask? Here's how. Over the last 2 years, Kundalini has moved massive amount of energy into and around my left shoulder in an attempt to widen the muscles of that shoulder. I can feel it at work. At the same time, an artery to my heart had evidently started to clog. Why was never fully determined. That Monday, I awoke, took a shower, started to work, but began to feel the type of sensations I'd associated with Kundalini work underway. Only this time it was really active, shooting around my arms and shoulders until finally locking into an area covered by football shoulder pads, and it was painful. Chest and back, 6 inches down both arms. Very painful. Unlike previous, what I'd call flashes, it didn't go away. At first, I tried to ride it out. Didn't want to bother my wife if it was eventually going to go away. I still thought it was Kundalini. I jogged and stretched, trying to make it go away. But the pressure was too much, like it was being applied from both sides at once, from the inside and from the outside. The notion that this can't be Kundalini started to take shape, and I woke my wife, who, quite predictably, freaked out. But like so many heroic women, once she understood, knew exactly what to do. We piled into the car and off to the hospital. Only problem, they didn't have a cardiac unit at that hospital, but did in the other hospital 15 minutes away. So they packed me into an ambulance and away we went. The drill, switching hospitals, was very efficient. The last thing I remember on the way to the operating room was the doctor telling me, "You've had a heart attack. We're going to place some stents in your arteries to restore blood flow." I had no idea what a stent was. When I woke up, I felt great. I even got up and walked around the ward with the nurse that afternoon. So here's the stupid part. When I was able to recall some of the events of the past 2 years and think things over, I realized that 2 separate processes had been at work in the same area of my body for the last 2 years. Kundalini and artery blockage, only I didn't know about the latter because, at first, the sensations I was feeling were consistent with Kundalini energy movements I'd been accustomed to for the last 50 years. The following day, the doctor came in with test results telling me my heart was in good shape, that I should have a good recovery, and I could go back to work the following Monday. When something like this happens, it's too bad you can't mention Kundalini and be understood, that medical science wants no part of the evolutionary energy. But Kundalini didn't cause the attack. It's not responsible for the condition of my arteries or any other organ. That I let my arteries deteriorate is no one's fault but mine. Cholesterol? Perhaps. Genetics? Possibly. The wear and tear on an 80-year-old body? Maybe. One thing that did register, not that heart attacks are not to be feared, but that there are degrees of intensity, and I'm thankful to have undergone one that, at least for the time being, appears to be less critical.
You've heard the expression, "Don't judge a book by its cover." Well, you should know you can't judge a book by its title either. That certainly applies to deciphering the golden flower one secret at a time. Given the spiritual overtones of the title, It's easy to think it's a treatise on esoteric Chinese metaphysics. Think again. Used as a background for the narrative, The Secret of the Golden Flower is a how-to on a method of meditation capable of bestowing elaborate powers on its practitioners. And that's just how the narrator uses it, as a means of correcting the effects of a childhood accident.